Yeah, with my card order now at 5:51. Did anybody hear from the speaker or
Ashley said that she couldn't come.
like that's why I didn't ask her because you told me that already.
Oh,
But Jacob and Mrs. McKay.
I didn't hear about Jacob.
No.
Okay.
Jacob said he was going to come.
Okay. So we'll just go ahead and get started. Dr. Lucas, do you need a minute before roll call? Okay.
Ms. Harris is here. Ms. Clemens. I'm ready. Here. Israel Flores.
Here.
Alonso Sosa. Mr. Garces is here. Ms. Paul is here. So Ashley will not be here today. Is here. Mr. Shaker is not present as of yet. Ms. McKay is not present as of yet. And permission to change what says Social Jackson back to Mr. Clear. Favor first, please, sir.
Sorry.
8 members are present.
Thank you, Mr. Okay. And we can go ahead and look through the agenda and the November minutes. Or I'm sorry, the October minutes. Because we didn't have quorum in November, we did not vote to approve them then. And we also then don't have formal minutes from last month that we approved.
So we're approving October and November.
We'll just be doing October's. And Mrs. Blumenthal has volunteered. Mrs. Blumenthal. Yeah, we did include that in. Okay.
We're done the roll call.
What?
We're done the roll call. We are out of motion.
Yeah, I was in the roll call for everything.
We did roll call.
Yes. This
Yeah.
already
You
needed.
did. No, we didn't.
Review. So maybe a new business, I suppose that we had, the letter of resignation. Yep. Go with it.
Would that make any motion?
No.
Any suggested edits or a motion to approve as it is?
Motion to approve as
for the vote, we raise that for local and then doing for roll call for it. I think we can just raise our hands in favor of it, when you're ready, instead of having to go through the whole roll call.
Everyone for it? No one is opposed? Anyone abstain?
So then let's double check and make sure that we don't have any edits we need on minutes. Anyone see anyone that needs to be changed? Did I take her here? That's it. If we don't have any changes, do we have a motion to approve it as is? Does anybody need a minute before we vote?
Everyone for, please raise your hand. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes.
For new business, just to confirm, no beverages, correct? You didn't get that, did you?
Correct, I
Okay.
sent a message. Ms. Valenzuela said she submitted the application to you and promised to give her a copy in return, but that didn't happen. It was submitted last month. Crying emoji.
If we don't have the form and she can just give us the info, are we able to present it like verbally and fill out the form after the meeting? Do you know if that's?
I would prefer for for it to be tabled for the next meeting.
Okay.
Because then we're asking for her to submit an entire fundraiser proposal via text message, and then just.
Okay. I mean, I'm good with that. Okay, so we can move on to budget transfers.
No, it's if there is no new business at this time.
No fundraising.
No.
We don't have any forms for that. you may or may not know the answer to this lesson. I know that due to my son no work here, I am not allowed to go into the main budget. Am I also supposed to abstain from all budget related votes?
That's a good question.
Okay, I will abstain until the clarification.
That's a good question. I know that you had mentioned something like that to me before, and I just need to reach out to Veronica again and see if she can.
I'll just abstain now.
Or if I can find other information as well on the manual. But I don't have a clear answer for you just yet.
Okay. Yeah, I think it just says budget, and that could be right? So, better safe than sorry. Do we have any questions about the budget transfers? And are we just still waiting for transaction numbers?
Yes, those are brand new, so those
Okay.
those like literally either happened today from teachers that are coming in. But yes, those would be as soon as they're processing, we would have those numbers put into the document.
I'm just curious, what's CTE? CTE field trip?
So we have two CTE programs as career and tech education programs. That's our pre-engineering and digital media programs. Those are two programs that students can apply from 8th grade to Foreman, and they're designated as CTE programs.
Other questions? Or do we have a motion regarding them?
I motion to pass the budget transfers for 12/2023. Second.
Mr. Flores making the motion, Mrs. Zaragoza second. Anyone? All in agreement, please raise your hands, yeah.
I'm just gonna say,
Oh, anyone against?
So my son now works here,
Understood.
and so that impacts my ability to vote on one budget issues, and we need to find out if all of the transfers.
Understood.
So for now, I will abstain on any budget related. And then LC election.
Yeah, well, I just want to give an update officially where in the past month, I think it was October, I have placed these voters, these are the applications for the local school council for the next 2 years. So the deadline to put this in is in February. It's noted here, so please make sure if you want to run again, the elections are going to happen in April of 24, which is 2024, which is doing parent report update. It's going to be open for the communities to participate, the teachers to participate, and we've been sending out information to the homes via with a progress report. Students send them, we send the progress report with the letter to the homes for parents to participate, sign up to be part of the local school.
For students who are not graduating this year, are they able to run for a second term, or are they, okay, so they can only do 1 year at a time, and they have to
Year
do
at a
it for
time.
multiple years?
So they can run for a second term, but that usually happens also in April, but it's during the school year. They're not part of the big.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I know all of us, as long as we continue to have students here, or as long as we continue to reside in the boundaries, are eligible to run again. Okay. Any questions on that, or anything anybody wants to add?
I just think we need to see if we can make a push to get parents to be part of the local school council. I don't know if the best way. I was thinking at one point to create videos from us, inviting parents to be, and then we can I can send them to the parents, like a little vignette saying like, oh, I'm a parent of the local school council, and we would like to invite you to be part of it.
Yeah.
Something simple, you know. Well, I'm a member of the local school council, I represent the community. We need parents.
Yeah, there's some organizations in the community too that are putting together like some webinars and stuff for us to do, like to use as outreach. And so I'm just waiting to get some of those, like there's a webinar coming, I can forward that to anybody else wants to do, but I know that like collectively across the community they're trying to get people to pull their ideas for it, because this is like a citywide issue.
And like we just recently had a back meeting, and so shamelessly plugged another opportunity for parents to participate in LSC. But I'll see what I can do, and also just trying to add that as a permanent agenda item for them to announce during our PAC and DAC. And if when I can be there or Admin can be there, we'll continue to plug away at those meetings as well.
I just realized that we have been occasionally English, and we don't have any of the Spanish-only speakers on the LSC. Do we want to quickly just at least bring up that stuff for our audience in case translation and for recording? And not necessarily the whole thing, but at least like the part of the LSC elections and just kind of quickly updating on what we've done so far.
Solamente estamos abocando el español para los padres que no entienden inglés. Estamos buscando miembros que son para enviarles para el nuevo ciclo local que sería la elección el año que entra. Las elecciones serían en abril 24, en el tiempo de las conferencias de los boletos estudiantes con los padres que están aquí con la casa abierta. Va a haber una elección, si usted está interesado en participar o quieres aplicar, puedes participarse con las invitaciones.
Una cosa, yo soy representante de la mamá de ella está ya para graduarse, porque mañana es el último día. Entonces, no sé si ya está ahí terminando la gestión aquí.
Sí, como padre, the question here, she has a daughter that next year, at the end of this year. Hija, ¿verdad?
Sí, mi hija.
Yeah. So, oh, mañana termina.
Usted dijo que se gradúa mañana, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Mañana o al final del semestre. Del año actual.
Se gradúa ella porque supuestamente mañana es el último día.
Okay, so he has heard it's going to be finalized tomorrow.
Okay.
And he wanted to know if this is the end. Y en su participación, ¿no?
Sí.
Sí, so yeah, his participation is here at the local school councils and he participates. So desafortunadamente son sí, los padres que pueden participar para ser parte del concilio tienen que ser padres de estudiantes activos. Sí, y estas elecciones van a ser para el año 2024, 26. So, es una posición de 2 años.
Okay.
So, automáticamente, pues, al hacer las elecciones en abril, ustedes como padres no califican para esta elección. Si no tienen un niño más jovencito que entre a la escuela. Una vez tenga un hijo en la escuela, sí puede ser miembro. Por otra parte, si usted vive en la comunidad, usted puede participar como miembro del concilio y correr como representante comunitario si no tiene un hijo aquí en la escuela y si vive en la comunidad. So I was explaining to them that because her child is leaving now and the elections are going to be on 2024 for 2024-26 term, he will probably not qualify. However, if he lives in our neighborhood, he can still run as a community representative.
will you please also remind him that he is also, whether he's on the LSC or not, he is also welcome to continue to attend and sign up for public participation.
Dice la presidenta que mientras, si usted es o no parte del concilio, usted está bienvenido a seguir viniendo a esta junta y participar de la junta como oyente.
We have no business. So for reports, the only thing for not the only thing. First, Mrs. Clinical has officially resigned. So now we have one more opening. The other thing is that just in terms of our notes and our discussion that we need to be mindful of as we go into the second semester. The end of the year that's quite busy with budget approval, principal evaluation, just trying to wrap things up. We also have to have 2 presentations on the state of the progress. So Principal Escamilla and I will need to sit down and talk soon after break about what we want to do in terms of scheduling those. So please be prepared at our January meeting for some discussion about scheduling, availability, because what will probably work best is for us to have a couple of special meetings instead of trying to pack all of those things for regular meetings. We just end up being pretty long nights, particularly for students and for teachers. You already have quite a bit going on in the evenings, and so I want to make sure that we're being mindful of everyone's time and needs, but still making sure that we're setting those dates. I am allowed to call them with just 48 hours notice, but I think that unless there is a truly urgent situation, it makes much more sense to schedule them well in advance and to base that off of people's availability.
Going through my report. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. It is taking some time to catch up and read through probably 4,000 emails that I was sent. But I'm glad to be back and get back in the swing of things. And I love my staff, so they're awesome and been giving me a warm welcome. And so we're happy to continue to rock and roll here. So I just wanted to give just a general overview as to where we stand right now. As of the 20th day, we're at 606 students. As of today, we have 634 students enrolled at Foreman, and they keep coming. They're opening up this new, where they're taking over, I believe it was a Catholic elementary school in Portage Park, where they're moving a lot of the migrant families. So we're anticipating the continued enrollment and support of families coming to the city of Chicago. And it shows within our EL population, and we're now well over 50% EL students in our program. We made an announcement. I made an announcement early on in the school year when this was sort of announced and prognosticated to us that we were going to see more families, migrant families that are coming through the border. That our teachers get prepared, especially our core endorsed teachers that's math, science, social science, and English to get their EL endorsements, and a lot of our teachers are already jumped on programs to continue to pick up strategies to support this population. We, compared to last year, or compared to the 20K, I should say, we're also at 19% diverse learner population. With that said, the district is continuing to support us in their own way. I don't know if necessarily it would be the most perfect or ideal situation, but something is better than nothing. With the increase of enrollment after the 28th day, right now I'm working closely with the district to get additional classes for our students. And I'm going to start to translate after this slide. And so right now what the district is offering is for me to open up anywhere between 8 to 12 additional classes for our increased enrollment. And so the tricky part to this is that teachers have to say yes, right? And so in previous years, they've made similar offers when our enrollment has increased. However, it's been difficult to get teachers to commit and to say yes.
So this is asking teachers to pick up an extra class period. It's
Correct.
not hiring additional staff.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It may lead to something like that if there's a greater need in a particular content area. Let's say I need to open up 4 additional math classes. Like that may arguably, sway us to open up maybe a part-time position or something like that. But right now it's sort of evenly distributed, and right now out of the teachers that I targeted are the teachers that are already teaching this content and these classes and these students. So rather than giving them an all-together new teacher, I'm trying to first offer it to teachers that are already teaching these particular courses. And I gave them a deadline for Thursday to give me some wiggle room as to how to create a new master schedule for semester 2. But I'm getting a good response, a positive response from most of the teachers that I've already reached out to. And currently we have one pending security position that is still open. We actually, before I got here, my team extended an offer to a candidate to fill this security position, but in doing so and doing the vetting through the district said that this person was not qualified to be in this position, so we had to start all over again to rehire someone for security. And it gets kind of tricky because with security, there is a level of vetting that the district does before we even see candidates. So safety and security downtown begin their interview process even before they hand me a list of names of potential candidates that I can interview. So it takes a bit of time to hire security, and understandably so, because we want to make sure that we have the right people keeping our schools safe. So ahorita nada más voy a explicar esto en español. Hemos crecido desde el principio del año y ahorita tenemos 634 estudiantes en la escuela. Más del 50% de nuestros estudiantes son parte del programa bilingüe, que son estudiantes que están aprendiendo el idioma inglés. Pues. 19% son estudiantes que son parte de la educación especial aquí en nuestra escuela. Y estamos creciendo como una escuela, nos sigue ayudando el distrito, y ahorita me está prometiendo el distrito de abrir más clases en varias áreas de los programas de matemáticas, ciencia, inglés, etc. Abrir más clases para los estudiantes como estamos haciendo en una escuela. También ahorita estamos buscando ampliar seguridad para nuestra escuela. Y, hemos tratado de darle un trabajo a una seguridad, pero con tiempo y ese proceso indicaron que no calificaba para la posición, entonces teníamos que empezar de nuevo para buscar seguridad que nos queda para entrar aquí en la escuela.
Question?
Yes.
About the prior slide. About the diverse learners.
Yes.
So there was a significant increase from September to December. Is that because we identified existing students as diverse learners who were not previously identified as such? Or is that new enrollment or a significant combination?
No, it wouldn't be that we didn't previously identify them. As students come from other schools within our district, their IEPs are already part of the system.
Okay, so there's students who are new to
Correct.
Foreman.
Or they're new to Foreman, or they are newly identified as needing an
That's what
IEP.
I was
Yes.
trying to figure out, is how many of them were new students versus actually by sense that they had these needs that I know that.
Correct.
So it's both.
Yes.
Okay.
And just to follow up on that, how does CALSAP been affecting special needs teachers and teachers? Have that, do we need to advocate for more?
So yeah, at the beginning of the school year, when we started to get our numbers in, that's when I started to what they call there's a process, an appeals process to say, hey, we've had an increase, and the district follows a formula of the number of staff we would need in order to serve student needs. It gets very specific in the formula they follow because students have very specific needs in their IEP. They may need help with literacy, right? And so versus math, maybe they're performing at the grade level according to their math levels, but not in literacy, right? And so we would need to then make sure that they're getting those additional supports wherever reading is heavy in their schedule. However, sometimes I need to make an appeal for students who need special education classroom assistant. So it's not necessarily that they need a teacher that's dedicated to that student, but maybe an aide that's there to support the student. So that's when I made my initial appeal for additional positions, and they granted me some SECAs at the beginning of the school year. When I was gone, and the numbers continued to increase, I would say probably not by much. Ms. Jackson and A.P. Paredes also continued to appeal, and that appeal was denied. So based on our numbers and based on the school need, they said, although we tried our best to advocate and say, hey, can you send us more staff to support? They said right now that there was no need, indicated by the data that we presented. But yes, we continue to, once that continues to develop, and we continue to see a growing need in diverse learners, I appeal, and they provide me with positions based on our needs.
What is the typical response time? Or does it vary widely between when you appeal for classes and the state response?
It varies, and so it's really about me staying on top of them, emailing the network so that they can sort of circumvent the process and advocate for me. But it's not quick and easy. It seems like it was quick and easy to be rejected, but when you actually want to offer these positions, it takes quite some time.
I just wanted to translate real quick. La pregunta que hice era sobre los números que vemos abajo. Han subido de 12 a 19 y eso es lo de la educación especial. Entonces pregunté si la necesidad de maestros también ha cambiado. Y lo que menciona el director, que cambió al principio y él pidió más recursos a la escuela y primero le dieron más recursos, el número siguió creciendo y trató de pedir más recursos y a la segunda vez dijeron que los recursos que tenemos al momento están al nivel necesitados. Y luego preguntó la presidenta cuánto se tarda ese proceso. Dijo el director que cambia, que depende de la situación, pero muchas veces responden rápido cuando nos están negando los recursos. Eso lo explicamos ahorita.
With the students who have recently continued to arrive, who have traveled as immigrants, is there a process where you're automatically screening them to see if they're diverse learners, or does that have to be requested by their parents?
So no, the process is automatic based on their what they're displaying in the classroom. So the teacher support identifies the student's needs.
Okay.
Sometimes there may be an occasion where the parent is coming from another country where they are receiving those types of services and then they advocate for their child. That happens very rarely.
The experience getting from there to here alone, can be impacting what their needs are. And so that's good to hear that the teachers can report, hey, these kids are, understandably needing so much help as they're adjusting to everything that their is, so that we can make sure that we're getting them support and not having to wait to make sure that their parents understand that they have to just thinking of this as the perspective of somebody who has had to go through the process of, initiating a 504 request for a kid.
Yeah, and you probably know with that 504 request, especially if it's connected to something medical, the process is that then we would have to tell the family using medical documentation to apply for a 504 plan.
Right.
So unfortunately, yes, that there's a process for that, but
but there's a different process that doesn't rely on parents having to understand that process and feel comfortable initiating that.
So la pregunta fue que si hay un proceso de identificar a los estudiantes que están viniendo de un país nuevo para darles la ayuda si necesitan ayuda de la educación especial con un plan de la educación especial. Y sí hay un proceso que siguen los maestros, pero también si vienen de otro país y saben que tienen esa necesidad de ayuda además en disciplinas diferentes como matemáticas o lectura, a veces los padres inmediatamente piden esas ayudas para sus hijos, especialmente si están recibiendo eso en el país de donde vienen. Pero sí hay un proceso, pero a veces si es algo médico, toma un poco de tiempo porque necesitamos los documentos de doctores para poder seguir apoyando a ese estudiante. So this just indicates our current overall school attendance as of today, and we are higher than we were at during this time in previous school years. So this is a bit positive. However, I understand that Ms. Jackson also presented a focus of our school with sophomores and seniors in the last reporting that she shared with the LSC. And so although we're overall, as a school, increasing with our attendance, there's still a greater focus and need to support our sophomores and our seniors because for some reason those were our two lower areas of attendance. And so we're still trying to address those areas, support students with senior contracts. And this year we're trying something new where we were trying to implement, and we're still going to do this, half-cap ceremony to set up goals for sophomores so that they can see themselves as halfway to graduation. And so creating a ceremony so that they can set goals perhaps around attendance, perhaps around academic success, so that they can see their performance increase with both attendance and classroom performance. So esa es nuestra asistencia de este año. Y estamos con todos los niveles, estamos mejorando con nuestra asistencia aquí en la escuela, pero de todos modos estamos enfocados en ayudar a nuestros niveles 2 y el último nivel de la secundaria. Aquí es que en estos dos niveles seguimos teniendo un poco de problemas con la asistencia de esos dos niveles de estudiantes, el segundo año y el último año. Y hemos hecho un proceso para los estudiantes del último año, donde ellos tienen un contrato que van a tratar de seguir a tener unas metas de asistencia y mejorando sus notas y sus clases también. Entonces tenemos un programa especial para ese nivel del segundo año y también un contrato para los estudiantes del último año. So this is our grade distribution, and I'll walk us through this a little bit, but the visual also helps being color coordinated. These are our grade distributions as we head to the end of semester 1. And what you'll see side by side is the previous school year. So in the first section, you'll see quarter 1 progress reports, and then you'll see quarter 1 final grades. And then you'll see quarter 2 progress report grades. And then right now, as we get closer to the end of semester 1, this is where we currently stand in comparison to the previous school year. So as you can, if you look at the far right column, the pink color or the reddish color indicates our S or failures. Orange is the students that are still passing but at a D level. The yellow is students with a C. The green are students with a B. And the blue are students with an A. And so right now, we kind of, in comparison to the previous school year, we're pretty much the same with the students that are receiving A's and B's, and a little bit arguably the same with students receiving C's and D's. However, we saw a small increase in students failing overall. And we identified the students that are failing classes more so in the 10th grade, and surprisingly, in their last school year, seen as seniors. Right? And so again, this is why we're trying to do some deliberate work with our contracts and with supporting students to set goals in their 10th grade level and to make a strong push to graduation as seniors. So ahorita en comparación con los datos que vemos aquí de las notas que los maestros están dando a los estudiantes, vemos que las notas de A, B, C y D más o menos son iguales del año pasado, pero estamos reprobando un poco más de estudiantes este año a este punto del año escolar. Y identificamos otra vez que estos estudiantes que están tomando clases ahorita son estudiantes del segundo nivel y del último año antes de graduarse. Por eso estamos haciendo programas especiales para ellos, para seguir teniendo estas metas para ellos, para que tengan éxito al fin del año. Pero todavía nos faltan medio año. So, queremos ayudar a los estudiantes, seguir tratando pasando todas sus clases. So this is just a focus because I know that Ms. Jackson had shared some data around sophomores and seniors because again this is where some of our focus lies when it comes to sophomore contracts and senior contracts. And so a lot of this work is being done within the classrooms as we present students with contracts, but also we've been pulling students out to meet with them individually to really focus on the purpose of our contracts and to hopefully set individualized goals with students that are struggling. And so this is a breakdown of grades within the sophomore grade level. As you can see, we have, in comparison to the previous school year, we see that increase in failures within our sophomore grade level from 16 to 22%. And then if you look at the senior grade level, we see that again, that increase in the failure rate from, I don't know what that may have been, 8% probably to now 16% this school year. So these are our two grade levels that are continuing to concern us, and that's why we have a special focus with these two groups. Again, estos son los dos grupos que nos preocupan más ahorita, este año escolar, y estamos por eso notando que están reprobando más clases este año que el año pasado, y por eso nos estamos enfocando en darles más soporte a estos dos niveles este año escolar.
I have a comment. Is it fair to say that because the end of the semester is tomorrow, maybe just, even though this is representing what we have right now, but maybe by tomorrow, after the recording is done, maybe things will level differently, so is it fair to say, sería justo decir también que como las clases no terminan hasta mañana, y los maestros quieren para reportar las calificaciones finales el viernes, right before the report, right?
There's definitely.
So, quizás la diferencia en el puntuaje de cuántas F existen y cuánta variedad de calificaciones existen del año pasado respecto a este año, puede haber un cambio significativo.
Sí, so la respuesta es sí, que sí es una posibilidad que ahorita las notas no son finales de los estudiantes. So, yo espero y deseo que estas notas van a mejorar desde este punto hasta el viernes. Es que los maestros tienen tiempo de entrar las notas de los estudiantes después que ellos entreguen proyectos, tomen sus exámenes. Y sí, espero que mejoren estos datos un poco más. Pero yo nada más quise presentar sobre los datos que son más recientes. So yes, there is a possibility that, and we expect, and I have hopes that we'll see improvements in these areas as students turn in final projects, extra credits, take exams, and teachers then end up entering more accurate grades. And so yes, there is that possibility of improving these things. But I did want to just present the most current picture. This data would be as of yesterday. So just some upcoming Foreman teamwork that we all have we're looking forward to. Our chairperson mentioned, focusing on our CIWP, and in January as we come back, our teams are going to be monitoring our action plan for our CIWP so that we can write a very comprehensive report as to what we've done, where we feel we're at, and what we need to do. So that's coming up for when we come back from break. And then I'm also going to be working with our LSC student reps to be tasking them with, and I painted this picture before I had left on this medical leave that I took, but the We Deserve It campaign, I want their creativity to shine with this, where they can loop in their different grade levels, their classmates, to help record these small sort of commercials to promote Foreman and to get more positive attention and hopefully some funding to our school, the facilities overall, not only the building, but hopefully in the near future our field outside, because again, we deserve it. Right? We're a neighborhood high school that, although we are supported through our school budget, the aging school building and it being a neighborhood high school, the only way we can continue to be a viable option for our own community is if we get some TLC to our facilities, right? And so I'm hoping to leverage the expertise, the intelligence of our LSC student reps to help me with this campaign as we come back. So, con nuestros equipos,
Oh, no, sorry.
Con nuestros equipos, cuando regresemos en enero, vamos a seguir trabajando sobre nuestro plan de los próximos 3 años, que es que hacemos nosotros un plan de 3 años que se llama CIWP, donde nosotros tenemos varios equipos de maestros aquí que saben el plan y nos van a estar trabajando juntos para saber dónde estamos con este plan, cuánto nos queda, qué tenemos que cambiar para seguir mejorando una escuela. También nos vamos a pedir ayuda a los estudiantes que son líderes en este concilio para que nos ayuden a también ¿qué se promueve en Spanish? Hacer promoción sobre las necesidades del edificio y de los cambios del edificio que necesitamos, como nueva pintura, nuevas mesas o el equipo, los equipos que juegan en el campo de afuera.
Bombillas nuevas.
Sí, queremos pedir ayuda para que nos ayuden. Nos dan dinero para poder pagar a los maestros, para poder comprar computadoras, cosas así, pero el edificio necesita más atención. So, queremos ayuda de nuestros estudiantes para poder hablar sobre nuestra escuela y mejorar nuestra comunidad con ese trabajo. So, eso vamos a esperar que nos ayuden nuestros estudiantes en enero.
Can the committee reps help out with
Yes.
pushing that content out?
Yes. Yes. And so this is not just I'm not just envisioning our student reps, but this is why I mentioned it to our LSC, because yes, our student reps may be reaching out to you to organize, like maybe Mr. Garces mentioned something about like creating short videos for other purposes, but this is something I also envisioned about just recording certain videos where the scenery paints the picture. There's certain things that, walls that may be crumbling, or washrooms that may need updating, or locker rooms that may need updating. And yes, we would want to leverage our LSC, including our community reps for that. Especially our community reps like yourself, who are very versed with what's been going on in our community and the need and the importance of a neighborhood high school. That's what I hope. And so yes, the answer is estaba preguntando si puede ayudar, seguir ayudando al concilio, especialmente esos que están representando la comunidad. Yo digo que sí. Ese es el punto también de pedir este tipo de ayuda, es de que nos ayudemos como un concilio. So upcoming meetings, I just want to wish everybody a happy winter holiday. We do come back to a PAC on January 8th, and the PPLC January 8th as well. También quise nada más notificar que tenemos 2 juntas enero 8 de organización de padres que se llama el PAC. Todos los padres son invitados en enero 8 aquí para tener esta junta. Y luego hay un concilio de maestros que me ayudan a hacer decisiones para cómo enfocarnos en formas académicas aquí y mejorar nuestros métodos académicos. Y tenemos una junta con esos maestros en enero 8 también. So thank you, that is my report.
Is the PAC meeting in person or is it?
Yes. here, but, and maybe you may have more information.
I think it's virtual.
It is virtual, okay.
I don't know if you're gonna have to do a lunch on the. Oh, there's a lunch on it. We should have the back report.
That I have not.
Okay.
I was not in the last meeting.
Okay. Yeah, we strictly need to submit anything, so.
I mean, I was here, I think. It was more to encourage parent culture within that. So we had food here for parents from the staff. And then we also brought in a representative from central office that helps organize VACs in other schools. And she was explaining the roles and responsibilities and benefits of participating and thanking the parents for their participation in VAC. And then they enjoyed a meal together. So, en la última junta del concilio de padres del programa bilingüe, que fue la semana pasada con la señora Tracy y otra persona del distrito, simplemente se celebró esa organización de padres aquí, en este cuarto, donde comimos, pero dimos las gracias a los padres que están participando en ese programa de padres, y también para los padres que siguen ser interesados en participar en ese programa, les dimos también esa información de cómo seguir participando y qué son los beneficios de ser parte de la organización del padre de la educación bilingüe.
So I just want to state for the record para los padres, quisiera saber que hay una organización de padres bilingües que se reúne 4 veces al año y la próxima reunión va a ser en febrero. So I'm just stating that that meeting is a program for parents of bilingual, and they meet 4 times in a year, and the next meeting is going to be in February. So están todos los padres de estudiantes bilingües invitados a estas reuniones, y esas reuniones se conducen en español. So all parents are welcome to that meeting, and those meetings are conducted in Spanish.
Any questions about that for the budget? That meeting we just had a workshop for the parents for Wednesday level assignments for the students. So those parents have meetings and they're virtual. That's one will be next meeting will be January 8th and 6th. Yesterday, our PAC meetings are virtually, they're at the evening. We're working in getting a workshop for parents to deal with students about doing the transition. So we have a lot of new parents coming into the meetings. There are new parents that are coming in. The parents that are coming to the meeting, the kids are coming to school. So the old meeting. I think that's it's the most important time for us to catch up and involve them. And I will share the information to see if they can modify the others. Ahora les estoy explicando que el concilio, el PAC, la reunión que se va a hacer para enero 8 es el concilio de padres de la escuela Foreman. Nuestra última reunión fue el pasado 11 de diciembre. Estuvimos dando un taller para los padres acerca del negocio y qué requisitos necesita cada estudiante para la unidad de la escuela. Nuestra próxima reunión es el 8 de enero, es a las 10 de la mañana, es virtual y tenemos planeado hacer un taller para la transición de los padres que están viniendo a este país, los inmigrantes, al igual que padres que están llegando aquí a esta escuela de Foreman. A las 10 de la mañana y también vamos a compartir la información que dijo el señor Garza acerca de si los padres están interesados en formar parte del consejo local. Creo que es una buena oportunidad para que aprendan y también obtengan información. Si gustan acompañarnos. Se manda un texto normalmente unos minutos antes y les mandan la página, el link para que lo conecten virtual. Any FOIA requests?
No FOIA requests at this point.
PLC update? Are there going to be updating?
Yeah, the only update I have right now is we had a very short meeting the last time where we discussed our focus, and we're still working on establishing that focus. This principal F.C.C.A. joined us recently, so that's going to help us decide with the team of teachers where we're heading. So, en este momento, en términos de la reunión de FCCA, que es la de los profesionales maestros, nos acabamos de reunir los maestros en la última junta, con una junta bastante corta donde estamos tomando decisiones y tratando de implementar los siguientes pasos que vamos a seguir o continuar para asesorar y ayudar al director en diferentes áreas.
Would you please ask if anyone has anything that they want to discuss or public participation?
Estamos en la parte de participación pública en este momento.
Sorry.
Okay, so la secretaria indica que si se le dio la oportunidad en la agenda al estudiante representante a hacer su reporte y pedimos disculpas de que no le dimos la oportunidad, se lo vamos a dar en este momento.
Basically, I think the only kind of thing that triggered any kind of like thoughts and stuff was just one, seeing a lot of the enrollment from when we started from this year till now, like that is a really big jump. And I know you said that it was contributing to the amount of migrant families moving. Is it strictly just that, or is it like the transfers from like other schools?
No, there's certainly coming from several areas, but
okay.
Noticeably, yes, newcomers to the United States.
So yeah, I just wanted to kind of highlight that. I think that's also really important. And I think I was also just thinking about like the possibility of opening 8 to 12 classes, and I think that would definitely help Foreman. Like I was like, oh my gosh, maybe more AP classes, maybe more like extracurriculars. But I think the thought of like having more teachers, teachers that we already have take on more classes, I feel like that might make it a little harder. Like there would have to be more positions open for teachers, considering that a lot of them, of course they have their students during the day, but then sometimes they're also doing after school things. So I would just say that I really want at some point for more classes to be added to Foreman's curriculum. I think that would definitely benefit, especially considering the jump in enrollment. And I'm excited to work on the We Deserve It campaign. So yeah, I've kind of just been brainstorming ideas about that. But besides that, I don't think there's really been anything else. I think the senior contracts have been helping a little bit. I noticed some students or some seniors that didn't really come, but then I kind of see them with their contract and I'm like, dang, but they're here, So it's the pros and cons, but I definitely see it's helping. It's helping. I can't even lie, it's helping. And I definitely think the little ceremony that you were talking about for the sophomores, I think that would definitely be helpful because I know if sophomore year me would have taken my sophomore year more seriously if I thought about it and oh, I'm at the halfway mark. I don't have to worry about it because junior year's next year. That was my
It makes
mindset.
your senior year so much easier if you
Yeah.
have been taking it seriously.
Yeah, it tremendously. So yeah, I definitely think that might help. But yeah, that's kind of all thoughts I've been sitting here accumulating.
With the reset arrivals, is there anything going on we have the links that the staff does and that the community does, but is there anything student to student, through student voice or something in terms of peer mentoring or the main committee or something? I feel it's gotta be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And other students might be more comfortable with some of with some of you versus the adults.
Right.
I'm very wrong with translation. I don't know if it's translate.
La representante de estudiantes, Humphrey, estaba diciendo sobre sus pensamientos sobre lo que hemos hablado. Primeramente, ella habló un poquito sobre más estudiantes que están enrollando aquí en la escuela. La mente de ella estaba pensando si son puro de familias de inmigrantes o si también tenían estudiantes en otras escuelas. Y la contesta era que es una variedad, ¿verdad? De muchachos que están en diferentes lugares. A la otra idea que ella estaba muy orgullosa y muy feliz de trabajar en la campaña que nosotros lo merecemos para recuperar estudiantes para la escuela de una manera positiva. También ella habló sobre la preocupación que ella tenía sobre si hay más clases abriendo, es buena oportunidad para tener más clases avanzados, pero si los maestros que están enseñando ya tienen más trabajo ya por encima, si eso no sería un poquito mucho trabajo para ellos, y si no es posible tener como otros maestros venir para ayudar con esas clases nuevas que pueden abrir, para que los maestros que están ahora en el momento no se cansen de tener tanta responsabilidad de trabajo. Pero la pregunta que hizo la chairperson Ms. Kern era que si, repeat your question again?
What we have set up for student-to-student support for the new students.
Cómo los estudiantes está apoyando a uno mismo y ella estaba pensando como un programa de mentor, ¿verdad? Un estudiante puede ser mentor a otro estudiante, porque ella, por ejemplo, se usó ella misma como, por ejemplo, en su segundo año, cuando estaba aquí, como hemos visto los del segundo año, la mayoría están pasando por estos F.C.C.A o pasando sus clases. Si alguien le ha dicho a ella, estás al medio, y si haces bien en este momento, tu último año va a ser mucho más fácil. Para ella sería algo que ella lo había pensado doble, ¿verdad? Antes de hacer ciertas cosas que le podrían haber prevenido ahora los dolores que tiene en su último año.
Y también para los estudiantes que apenas llegaron en el programa mentor, estudiante a estudiante, para que tengan como gente que saben que pueden ir a ellos, los que llegaron y los que ya estuvieron aquí.
Bueno, eso es simplemente una conversa, ¿no? Ya que estamos atravesando por esa difícil situación en cuanto a niños inmigrantes, estudiantes inmigrantes que están llegando, no uno o dos, sino por cantidades bastante grandes. Y eso lo sabe todo Chicago y todos Estados Unidos. Entonces, el punto es de que yo he preguntado principalmente que tengo también mis niños en otra escuela, qué tan difícil es de adaptarse a ese sistema, ya que ellos tienen como un tipo de sistema diferente de estudio y aquí están con otro tipo de sistema. Entonces se encuentran y se pone más difícil porque ellos están en otro nivel y ellos están perdidos. Entonces muchos se hacen la gran pregunta de que no se encuentran en la clase mientras a unos están apenas enseñando algo y otros ya tienen bastante adelantado y se quedan como esperando. Es lo que está pasando también con mi hija, principalmente ahora, porque nosotros, en cuanto al idioma inglés-español, enfocado 100% a que pues obviamente se tiene que aprender inglés. Es muy difícil de que ellos aprendan tan rápido en un año el inglés, mas sin embargo pues tienen que hacerlo. Pero en las escuelas no están dando y en los colegios no están dando el enfoque seguro o práctico al 100% del idioma. Mi hija, ella ya se gradúa, pero su inglés es un 30%, y lo cual ella dice, el año anterior yo tenía B, ahora me estoy graduando y estoy con C, bajé. O sea, y eso le preocupa mucho a ella. Y quisiera que eso se enfoque la directiva aquí a los que vienen ahora, que lo tomen con más responsabilidad, por decir, con más enfoque al inglés como segundo idioma, que sea muy importante eso para que los que están ahorita aquí entrando, pues tomen eso en serio. Ya que pues, ¿perdón? Sí.
So the parent was saying that He agreed with the idea of the mentorship, as Ms. McKay added about the migrant students maybe also needing mentorship. Because his daughter, for example, like she had B's last year, she now has the C's, and her English is maybe at about 30%, and she's about to graduate. So the concern being that, like, as more migrant students are coming in, they're kind of stuck at levels that maybe kind of, these students are here, but they're here because of their language. And even school to school, the curriculums are so different and the gaps are large.
Yeah, and when we think about, language as a barrier, one of the best ways to learn it is conversationally, not just academically. And so we can start pairing them with bilingual students where they can just sit in and just chat. Like, how are you doing? They're going to pick up on it more easily. And English is more useful to them than academically.
Ella dice, tienes toda la razón, y una manera que pueden agarrar inglés más pronto todavía, no solamente académicamente, sino si lo podemos juntar con tus estudiantes en conversación. Cuando ven el lenguaje puesto en situaciones verdaderas, generales que pueden utilizar todos los días, hasta aprenden más rápido el idioma.
And also just like not just to focus on academics, but like gotta be lonely. When we think about like mental health experiences, maybe after the new year, maybe we could not necessarily through LSD, but like set up some conversations about that.
Around mental health.
No, about like student to student mentoring. Or
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely set something like that up. The only thing is trying to assure the participation of that, because as you saw, it's like 50% of them are in the bilingual program, but that would mean that the other 50% would have to serve as mentors, and I don't know how likely that is, but it's something that at least for me, is worth at least trying to do something about.
Would there be a demand for like evening ESL classes, like targeting just young adults? Because right now all the ESL classes in the neighborhood are just for adults, and they're in the day or in the morning. But I'm wondering if that's something that there would be significant numbers enough that we could like apply outside of the school for like funding for maybe Onward House to set aside like 1 hour.
There's so many community resources that I would think that if there's a demand,
Even for a student to do something like that, but basically the numbers, like they can offer a class, but they won't be able to fund it or put it together. If there's not at least 10 to 15 people who are like, I'll sign up for it if you present it.
So,
Estaba ella diciendo que también mentalmente, para la salud mental, también los muchachos necesitan esa conexión con otros muchachos. La idea era que si no podemos hacer como unas relaciones, pero si 50% de porcentaje de la escuela es bilingüe, que si los 50 no son, hay que buscar la manera que puedes interactuar uno con el otro y que sea algo estructurado bien. Y nuestro Zaragoza está diciendo, si hablamos de clases bilingües aquí en la escuela, después de la escuela para adultos y para jóvenes adultos, mejor dicho, donde pueden cometer a 1 o 2 horas a la semana para venir, para que les sigan ayudando con su lenguaje. Pero para hacer algo así, para tener los fondos, tiene que tener el representante por lo menos de 10 a 15 personas que fielmente van a asistir a las clases, porque todo es dinero, dan fondos. No quieres dar fondos para una clase donde no es suficiente estudiantes enrollados en una clase y participar.
And I know you were asking about potentially young adults, so not necessarily knowing exactly what age range you're speaking about, but just to share for the last 3 years, because I set this up at a different school I was at least for the last 3 years here at Foreman, and with working with Ms. Tracy in the Office of Culture and Language downtown. We are now offering Saturday programs for students who, because we have students from other countries that come to us who should be, let's say, juniors, sophomores, juniors, or seniors, and they're at the first level of ESL classes. So for them to try to catch up and sort of maintain at the same level so that they can graduate in a timely way was difficult at the start. However, now with being the squeaky wheel, we have gotten a Saturday program so that students are earning credit during the week through their regular classes, but then are also participating for pretty much an entire Saturday to earn an additional credit and continue their English practice. But those are students that are currently enrolled in a high school or in our ESL programs. So we are offering that, and we're still offering that right now.
How many students do you normally get on a Saturday?
It's roughly around 20 to 25.
So el principal dice que hace ya como 3 años que los sábados tenemos un programa aquí de estudiantes que están mejorados aquí en la escuela, pero necesitan más ayuda con el idioma de inglés y vienen los sábados para clases aquí bajo la directora de ESL, Ms. Tracy.
Pero cuenta como crédito también.
Is there anything else that anybody on the scene or public participants want to add before we talk about admission tuition?
I would just like to say that I think it would be really good if students did, like as Ms. Escamilla was saying that, like, yeah, like 50% of the bilingual students would have to meet that 50% of like non-bilingual students would have to step up to like be mentors. But I think it would kind of like, I was kind of thinking maybe like two, like let's say like two like English speakers to like, yeah, like it could be like 2 to 1. Right, it can definitely be like in groups. Yeah, in groups, different grades, it kind of gives more of that variety, more things to talk about, better conversations. Because if it's just like one-on-one, it's kind of like, hey, and then it kind of just stays there. But I think if it's like more so like groups, if it's, I'd say maybe up to like 5-6 people at a group at a time, that could be a really good conversation. And it's also like, it's that familiar face that you have in the hallways or like in your class. Like you can walk by and be like, it's not as scary when you can make eye contact with someone. And it's like, oh, I know you, you're familiar. So yeah, I definitely think.
Do you think there would be a significant interest in some of your classmates in being willing to act as a mentor, as long as they got, a lot of say in what that looks like?
Right. I think there would be some participation. I think a lot of the students that do speak Spanish, like, I feel like maybe if we kind of present it in a way that like, hey, these are people who genuinely like would appreciate your help, appreciate your effort, I think maybe that might kind of like move them in a little bit. Maybe if we gave mentors some kind of like acknowledgement of some sort, maybe like a little sort of like certification or something. Like if, yeah, count as a project of some sort. Look at you. But yeah, so just, yeah, you're getting some recognition of some sort. Because it's kind of just like, oh, like I'm doing this and I'm not getting anything out of it. Like, no, like, thinking for seniors, like, oh, let's say I get a certification from being a mentor, I'm going to put that on my resume. So, yeah, I definitely think that if we kind of pose it like, they're not just benefiting from it, like both of you guys are working together for the school. I think that we would definitely get a lot of participation.
So ella está diciendo, por si acaso podemos hacer con un estudiante por números, puede ser que un mentor tiene como 4, 5, 6 estudiantes en un grupo con quien trabaja, y para esos estudiantes que sirven como mentor, el beneficio para ellos sería que lo puedan poner en su resumen de la secundaria, o también pueden utilizar lo mismo que está diciendo para su proyecto de servicio que tienen que hacer para graduar.
I would even target the non-Spanish speaking mentors too, because like that's an asset or a resource for them to be able to pick up some Spanish as well.
No sabemos si se puede hacer estudiantes que no hablan español, trabajo con los que trabajan español, para que ellos también vayan aprendiendo la idioma.
We don't have anything else. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor? Okay. See you next time.
Just as a reminder, we have a session. Don't forget to read your folders, and the paper that is in the middle should remain there.
Jessica, did you want to find yours?
Yeah, I was just going
During
I forgot.
your classes, are you getting the confirmation that you actually took it online?
I got the promotion, and it's shooting not coming when I called it like you're good. I'm like,
I went online,
certificate.
but I haven't gotten
You
any.
didn't write?
It waited forever
They
to come.
take a while.
Yeah, last year,
It was
I think there was some that I couldn't remember.
You can only log out and verify it. my girls, and I have to do that. I have to do
And
that.
some of them I just like slice and that kind of forgot it.
Yeah.
So I would, what I
But I
can
believe
do,
we have to take, I mean, like, I'm gonna watch it once every night.
It's like women brushing. I get them all once, I got certification for like 8 out of 9, and then I never got the like once, I was like, also, when I talk to like the other, because I was like, I feel like I'm working here.
Do you?
perfect, I'm thinking, so I can get
Like, very in our house,
Immediate family.
yeah,
I would do
this time, my grandma's here,
what you're missing, actually, what you're missing is what you can see in the work. So maybe you go to
Your parents are primarily both.
but they are. You're always together,
I don't know how they're
possible. Yeah, looks like I'm still pretty family.
Yeah, it's always immediate family.
Even
They're
if it's
here.
twice a week.
And so I'm hosting Christmas Eve as one of my in-laws. No, I'm hosting Christmas Day as one of my in-laws for Christmas Eve with my wife. But yeah, but luckily it's all here in the city for now. With so this time she's here during Christmas, so
Okay, no, I didn't mention this. And, that's what we have right now.
yeah, and here the door's like,
Okay.
what